It was my first time in Finland. It was minus 14 degrees in December, so such a cliche. The first thing you told me was, I tell people that they can walk on water. Yeah. And that was the first thing I heard in Finland. Can you elaborate about that? It was in 2013, to put things back in context.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like very kind of like central to what we made happen at Rovio. So, if you look at Angry Birds, we made that the fastest growing consumer brand ever. So already in like 2012, so 2 years after Angry Birds came out, Angry Birds was in the top 10 of all licensed brands in entertainment. So you had 7 Disney brands, Mickey and Friends, and then of course Star Wars and Marvel that are now part of Disney as well, and then Toy Story and all of these. Then you had Hello Kitty, the 40 plus years old cat character by Sanrio Japan, and you had Peanuts, and then you had Angry Birds. So Angry Birds was there kind of like, we got there in 2 years, and okay, Mickey Mouse obviously since 1928, so been around for a while. But yeah, then we did some studies. So then 93% of the Chinese population knew the brand, 91% in India, and you could say that 9 out of 10 people on the planet knew and would say probably still knows the brand of Angry Birds. And then I always said that of course, I mean, it was easy for us because everybody knows that Finnish people, best marketeers on the planet. So like no sweat. But then when I was asked, about the success of Angry Birds, I always said that besides being the best marketeers on the planet, everybody in the company, actually everybody in the country knows how to walk on water. And then I was like, always like, Peter, like, isn't that like impossible? And then I said that, okay, let me explain what I mean. So if you look at Rovio and Angry Birds, 12 people in the company when Angry Birds launched the 12th of December 2009. And then we grew the company to 850 people very quickly. So massive growth, meaning that most of the people were not there when kind of like the success happened and the brand kind of like really exploded kind of like to the global scene. And very early days of Angry Birds, I told everybody in the company and everybody in the world that, okay, we're going to go for 100 million downloads. And okay, now when you say that, okay, we're going to have 100 million downloads, it's still like, like a massive number and it's not easy. But basically back then, nobody had done that. Not even Tetris that had been around for 20 years back then. Okay, now it's 30 years. But not even Tetris had gotten to 100 million. And Tetris, of course, one of the kind of like all-time biggest games and all of that. So
Angry Birds went to 99 cents. It was not free. Nowadays we talk about 100 million downloads for free. Angry Birds had a price.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we always had to then that, okay, like how many free, how many paid. Most of them were paid downloads because that was the kind of like model in the App Store back then. So it was like premium content. That's actually good point. Now it's everybody takes for granted that, okay, it's always like free and it's free to play, and of course that's the dominant design now, but it wasn't back then. You couldn't even have like in-app purchases in the game. So that's
when Android came out. When Android came out, right? You had to have advertising.
But then the walking on water, so just to kind of like wrap that up. So basically then the point is that then I was told that Peter, you're crazy. 100 million, nobody has done that. It's impossible. Just like walking on water. But then when you ask the new people at Rovio who weren't there when the success kind of like happened. Then they were asked that, okay, so what do you do at Rovio, the company? What do you do there? And then they would say that, oh, we make games, and then 100 million downloads happen. New game, 100 million, new game, 100 million. And of course, that didn't happen kind of like automatically. I mean, we had to do a bit of marketing and a bit of activity to make that so. So we actually, like, for example, Angry Birds Space 2012, when we launched that, we launched it in space, on the International Space Station together with NASA, first game ever to be launched in space. And we did a lot of those kind of things. We took over the Red Square in Moscow, not only once, but twice.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
But anyway, so we had to do a bit. But anyway, we made it look easy because we learned how to do that. So when you ask the people then, oh, what do you do? Then it's okay, we make games, and then 100 million downloads kind of like happens. And this is the same as with the walking on water. That walking on water, of course, first reaction, it's impossible, like the 100 million downloads. But then when you actually know how to do it, and you mentioned that you came here in December first time, and it was minus 14 degrees centigrade, meaning that very easy to walk on water because it's frozen.
The sea was frozen. That was the first time I saw it, and that was so great. You said, here you can walk on water, the sea's frozen. And that's such a fantastic mindset, because of course there is the bold, we can do the impossible, but it's not just that. It's also timing is everything. You have to be smart. You have to wait for your moment to walk on water. It's not magic. It's a trick.
I think that is actually a good point. That, I mean, it's the golden rule of venture capital, that is like too early, too late. And I think that also applies to walking on water. That if you are doing it not in the winter, then probably you're not going to be
dangerous.